Hey everyone, welcome back. So we're doing a multi-part brain booster on open item management. This is going to be part 3, and today we're going to look at how to actually clear the items that have been flagged with open item references in the system. So let's get started. We're going to jump right into SAP Business ByDesign. So where we left off in our last video was we looked at some reports to identify what has been reconciled and not reconciled in open item management. So a report that we saw that's quite useful is your GL detail report that you might be used to running, and there's a version of it for open item management specifically. So if we launch that report, put in some of our parameters here. So we were looking at company 1000, our US books as of today. And if you run this report just like this, you'll actually only get the GL accounts that have been flagged for open item management. In that last session, we were looking specifically at this new account we created called employee loans. And if you like, we could even just limit the report to just look at that account. So that makes it a bit easier to read. And where we left off, we saw that we had put in 2 journal vouchers, both with open item references. The open item reference was really just the employee's last name. So Smith, Wilson, and Houston each got an employee advance. The system generated an ID number, 234, based on the year. So each open item reference, you decide what year it relates to, and then it just numbers up from the number 1 from there. And then the description is the name that you put in. So if we look at this report, we could even clean this up a little bit more. So let's maybe take out our debits and credits and just put in our total balance. We could obviously sort by the open item reference so that we could get our Smith together so we could kind of see that it cleared. We could take out some fields that maybe we don't need. So let's not bother looking at posting date or journal entry type. Maybe not even journal entry item. And if you like, we could even just take our open item reference. Let's just only show the description. And then let's take that field and move it into our columns. And so here, if we were to show subtotals, we could see that Smith has effectively cleared out, but Smith is still appearing on the report. And so there is actually a clearing event that would need to happen. You would trigger it in order for it to disappear off this report, because this report is meant to imply that only open items would show. So you don't necessarily need to do that clearing item. You could build your report like I have, and you would just see Smith forever, and you would see that it actually totals 0, so effectively it has cleared out. But if we want that clearing event to happen, that's what we're here about today, is to show you how that works. So let's go back to our general ledger. And we're going to look at our chart of accounts. And we're going to go find our account that we're dealing with. So this is our employee loans account. This is the account that you see we have the open item management flag on. We looked at that at last session, how to set that flag. And now if we go in here, we can actually click on the edit button and choose open items on selected account. And then it's going to take us to a screen where we can now manage a couple of different things. But one of the main things is to really clear items, debits and credits that are fully matched. So in order to clear something, it has to match totally. The system does not automatically clear it. And so clearing it is really straightforward. We're just going to click on the 2 items here, and you'll see that we have a clear button. And it's really that straightforward. So as long as these debits and credits are going to 0 out, we can see the balance here is implying that it's going to be 0, then we're good. So we'll hit the clear button here. And there is a posting date, so you can decide the day that this clears. That can be useful for if you're running this report retroactively and you're kind of doing this based on a month end. We'll just use today's date. And you can see those 2 items say cleared. And we can actually, because this filter on this report is open items in current period, if we re-invoke our search, we now see those items have cleared off the report. And so inside this sort of navigation management screen, this is more than just a report because it's allowing us to trigger the clearing event. We could go back and we could look at cleared items. So you can see the history of items that have been pushed through here. You could see all items. And you could see open items in the current period versus all open items from even prior periods. So you can use this to really manage that reconciliation of those prepaid accounts. So now we know that the $900 left in this account really just refers to these two employees. If we go back to our report, we left this open. So we saw that our Smith was here. Let's hit the refresh button on this report. You can see Smith disappears off the report because this report is specifically filtering out cleared items. So this report now becomes even more meaningful because the cleared items no longer show up here. And then the one last thing I'll add is if we go to our journal entries, we just look at today's posting, there is actually a clearing event that happens. It is a variation of a journal entry, but it doesn't really book any debits or credits. You can open it and you can see there are no debits or credits, but it's just creating this transaction in the system. It's giving an identifier and a posting date, so it knows that this is the date that those two transactions cleared out against each other. So we'll be doing one more video on this session, a little bit more advanced look at how to upload or bring in items into those open item accounts that are not related to journal vouchers. So join us for part 4 and we will have a look at how that works.